Hello everybody. Today we're going to look at rounding. So if you've clicked on this video, it may be that you are trying the extra challenge questions today that are asking you to choose some of your questions that you did and estimate the answers to see if your answer is reasonable. So why do we estimate? One of the reasons that we estimate is we use it a lot in our daily life, in different situations, and it can be very helpful to us. For example, if I'm going to the store and I have $30 with me, and maybe I have 2 or 3 things that I want to buy, I want to make sure that when I get up to the till to pay, I have enough money. So estimating can help me quickly figure out about how much those things are going to cost, and I can decide if I think I have enough money. That's just one example. But for today, we're going to look at estimating to help us decide if our answer that we got in our addition questions is reasonable. Does it make sense? So let's take a look here. Okay, so I have a question over here, an equation 43 plus 58. I am first going to estimate the answer to see about what should the answer be so that I can check my math later. So for today, we're going to look at rounding, and we're going to use a number line to help us. There are some other ways, but this is the way we're going to think about it today. So if you look over here at my number line, I know that the number 43 is going to be between 40 and 50 on a number line. I always want to find the middle point because that's going to be very helpful to me when I want to see where my number would be. So between 40 and 50, the middle is 45. It's halfway. Now I want to take my first addend and put it on the number line. Well, I know that 43 is more than 40, it's greater than 40, but it is less than 45. 45 has 5 ones, so 43 has 3 ones, so I know it's going to be here, and it's going to be right about here. So when I look at that, 43 is closer to 40 than it is to 50. So I'm just going to write 43. I'm going to round that to the nearest 10, which is 40. So nearest 10 means when we're looking at the tens digit, right? So 40 or 50, those are both tens numbers. 58 is my next one. Now I also want to see which 10 number that is closest to. So I'm just going to draw another number line here underneath. But this time, I'm looking at the number 58. So I know 58 is between 50 and 60. And I want to find that middle point, which is 55. When I'm looking at 58, I know that it is greater than 55 because there's 5 ones here, but there's 8 ones in 58. So it's going to be closer to 60. It's getting pretty close there. So we're going to put it right about here. All right, so when I'm rounding 58 to the nearest 10, 60 is the closest 10. So I'm just going to put that right here. So now I have 40 plus 60 for my estimate, and that is going to equal, well, I know that 4 and 6 are tens partners, so 4 plus 6 equals 10. 40 plus 60 are hundreds partners. My answer is 100 for that. This is my estimate. That means that when I calculate the answer here, it should be around 100, about 100. Not exactly 100 necessarily. So let's calculate it and see. We could do this a couple of ways. I'm going to use a little bit more mental math here. And I know that 40 plus 50 is 90. I know that, I'm just going to put that there, 8 and 3 is 11. And so that's one more 10. So when I add my tens, I now have 10 tens, which I know is 100. And I still have this 1. So I know that my answer would be 101. Many of you like this way, our column math. And we start at the ones. 8 ones plus 3 ones is 11 ones. So that's 10 ones and one more, 11 ones. 50 plus 40 is 90, plus another 10 is 100. So my sum is 100. And when I compare that to my estimate, which said my answer should be around 100, well, that's pretty close to 101. So I think my answer is reasonable. Okay, let's take a look at our numbers in the hundreds. This time, we're going to round to the nearest 100 instead of 10. All right. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, maybe. There we go. Okay. So this time, instead of having tens numbers, I want to look at the hundreds number. So I'm going to figure out what 100 is 576 closest to. All right, I'm having trouble with this camera. There we go. Okay, let's go this way. So 576, first of all, I know it's going to be between 500. It's more than 500, but it's less than 600. So I have 600 at the end of my number line. And just like we did above, we're going to find the middle point. I know that that is going to be 550. So let's place 576 on our number line now. I know that it is greater than 550, so it's going to be about here. And if I'm thinking in 25s, I know that right in the middle between 550 and 600 would be 575. So I'm going to go just past, because 576 is very close to that. So let's put it right there. Okay. So when I'm rounding 576 to the nearest 100, I know it's closest to 600. So I'm just going to write that one right here. Okay. When I'm adding, I'm going to be adding 453. We need to round that number. So now you can draw these number lines out, or you can make this number line in your head. Some of you will be able to do that and just think about it and picture it in your mind. So 453 is between 400 and 500. And again, I want to find that middle. I'm going to put the mark right here, and I'm going to give you a chance to think. What number is right in the middle of 400 and 500? If you were thinking 450, you would be correct. Okay, so there's my middle. Now, let's check this number again, 453. That's really close to 450. It's just a little bit past, so I'm going to put it right here. So when I look at this, my 453, is it closer to 400 or is it closer to 500? And it is closer to 500. So I'm going to, let's do this one vertical. All right, so 453 is closer to 500. So now when I add this to get my estimate, I know that 500 plus 500 would be 1,000. But I have 600, which is one more 100. So that is 1,100 100. And if you like the column math, we can see we have 0 ones, 0 tens, 600 plus 500. Some people would say 1100, which is really 1,100. Okay, so this is my estimate. It's telling me that my answer, when I calculate the sum, should be somewhere around 1,100. Now, when we're rounding to the nearest hundred, our answers are going to be a little further away, maybe, from the our calculated answer. That's just because when we're rounding to the nearest hundred, we're dealing with a little bit bigger numbers, and so it's possible that it will be a little further away, but that's okay. All right, let's do this one. I'm going to do this one. Let's do the column math on this one. 6 and 3 is 9 ones. 70 plus 50 is 120, or 7 tens plus 5 tens is 12 tens. And 500 plus 400 is 900. Ooh, but I know that this 100 can go here to make 500. 500 plus 500 is 1,000. So I need that 1 in the thousands place, and I don't have any hundreds left over. Or you can think of it as 600 plus 400 is 1,000, which really is 1,000. All right, so our answer, our sum is 1,029, which might seem like, well, it seems like it's further away. It's 71 away from 1,100, but when we're dealing with numbers in the hundreds, that's not a bad estimate. Okay, and I have actually gone over this twice to check that I have the correct answer. And so I would say that this one is reasonable. So there you go. There's a little review on rounding. I know it's tricky. If you're wanting to give yourself a little bit of a challenge, try it out. You can try it out with just one of your questions if you like. Okay, I will see you next time.